Yep, we do have RagnaroK versus Zest, and this is exciting because there's a lot of hype around RagnaroK, especially, you know, coming into 2020. I believe he's actually won a couple of these tournaments. I could be mistaking him for no, yeah, he won last week. Of course he did. Yeah. Yeah.
We watched him win last week.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just wasn't 100% sure. But, you know, RagnaroK, he 3-1 Trap last week. And he 2-0'd Zest last week as well. Like, he had an amazing ZvP run. And now it's Zest's time to get revenge.
Yeah, it's up to him to continue that ZvP streak, or perhaps for Zest to end that streak.
Yeah. We'll see how Zest has adapted and improved over the course of these 7 days, to see how he does. Or will RagnaroK take this win and, you know, become a back-to-back champion?
All right, the lobby is set up. We are going to go in to Zest versus RagnaroK very, very shortly. If you don't mind doing the intros, I'll be right back.
Yeah, for sure. I got you. The lobby is being made. The casters are coming in, as we do have, once again, the two other English casters in Chicken Man and Zombie Grub, as well as the Chinese caster Mage, the Korean caster Crank, and the Spanish caster Aquario. Here we go, loading into game number 1 between these two players. Casting tool is set up. No one's a barcode either, so their names and teams should show up in the intro. For those who don't know, because Trap is a barcode, casting tool doesn't register his name, so it doesn't apply the team. So that's why the Gino Green Wings logo didn't show up, if you were wondering. But here we go. I was gonna try and mimic Yaku's intro, his long intros, but I don't know if I should do that. Alright, here we have him. Representing Chivo as well as Korea. He did win ESL Cup Asia number 10 last week, and he did 2-0 Zest. Can he do it again? We have the Korean Zerg player, RagnaroK. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Nightshade LE, representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, as well as the country of Korea, we have the Protoss player, Zest.
Is best.
I mean, arguably, RagnaroK is best. I mean... Mate, RagnaroK he 2-0'd Zest.
That is accurate.
You can't say that about a lot of people, you know? Oh.
It is accurate.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch it. I don't think Zest pro blocked, but RagnaroK...
He did.
Okay, never mind. He did. Totally did. And
interesting.
Yeah, we do have RagnaroK going for that third base. You know, a little bit unfortunate, a little bit annoying to do so.
Yep, especially if Zest is looking to exploit this later on, maybe with some shade, Slaved Adept shades.
Yeah.
Options are very much open here for the Protoss player to get some harass. Oh, we're going to a quick little pause. I like this. Time to eat chocolate.
Is that what you did? Did you go and get chocolate?
No, I went to pee.
Nice.
I went black.
All right.
I grabbed a piece of chocolate on the way back.
Nice. And
all right.
So, I know we casted it. I say I know we casted it. I'm pretty sure we casted Zest versus RagnaroK last week. It's been a week. I can't quite recall what it... Oh, no, I do. Okay, it's coming back to me.
RagnaroK was very aggressive.
RagnaroK, we came in mid-series. We came in on Golden Wall, and RagnaroK went for the gold base. Do you recall?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And from there, he just pumped up the aggression. Zest kind of held, but also lost his mineral line. And then RagnaroK just got ready for round 2. And I have to wonder how Zest has changed up his play since then.
Exactly, that's what we were talking about, how because it was the beginning of the season, RagnaroK, he's kind of the player that, like, he's kind of the player who comes up with builds or comes up with strategies, and because of that, when it comes to the new map pool, he's kind of at an advantage, because, you know, he's able to come up with, like, these kind of interesting strategies, being able to utilize the map. But here in Nightshade, you know, Zest, I imagine, is a lot more comfortable with it. RagnaroK may be at a disadvantage. We'll see how he does on a more, you know, standard map.
That's where just got the Roach Warren. Does not. And that's just got the Roach Warren, actually.
Oh, okay.
This could be in trouble. But as you do see, the glaives are starting to go down. Again, Zest just going to part 2 of his multiple part plan, which started by isolating the natural.
Yeah, quite a few gateways are being thrown down, as well as the robo base, so we will be seeing quite a lot of adepts, I imagine, with a warp prism as well. But yeah, it could be difficult to hold from RagnaroK as opposed to Scarlet. If you recall, Scarlet was focusing on defending her natural and her third. That's going to be difficult, especially because of that early probe denial.
Well, we will have to see how it goes down. RagnaroK is actually the first one to take the initiative here, already moving across the map with his roaches. And this could delay Zest for quite a while. It could make Zest focus on his defense.
I actually really like this. Yeah, because the gateways are only just now finishing up. He's warping a couple of adepts just to load into his warp prism, but he's not thinking about defense right now. He's thinking to like apply pressure. That he does.
He does want to go around.
Yeah, he's avoiding the warp prism.
Of Zest.
Oh, I love it. He's trying to sneak around.
He's starting to go in.
Hey, do it. Get in there. He's gonna bust through. There's no shield battery.
There is no shield battery. Bile threatens the stalker, and now RagnaroK is in the base.
Oh my god, he focused the pylon.
He does focus the pylon, and that might just about be it. The warp prism was forced to recall.
Yeah, it was
recalled. Now these adepts are trying to do something, but they're not gonna get it. This looks about it.
Yeah,
RagnaroK just
there's no more warp prism. There's only one active gateway.
That there are. Warp prism trying to keep it alive, but not quite getting it. The Bile's being very threatening.
Oh, the warp prism actually powers the gateways.
That it is. And there's no Bile to threaten that warp prism now again for Zest. However, Zest lost 19 probes, and this is not the end of the assault.
Yeah,
One thing to keep in mind though is that Zest didn't quite open up the wall.
Yeah, that he didn't. RagnaroK didn't bust through. He didn't focus down the cyber core or anything like that. So Zest, he will be rebuilding and stabilizing once again. But, you know, he did lose a lot of workers. In the end, though, RagnaroK only ahead by 1.
I think what's important to note is he did force Zest to invest so much resources into his defense. What's his war prism gonna do now?
Exactly. I feel like because of that, I feel like we're just gonna transition into a regular game. like both players have kind of like Zest has been bruised enough where he can't really be too aggressive, and RagnaroK, he skipped out on his economy enough to where he can't really end the game. So we're probably just gonna
pretty much,
yeah, just dust ourselves off and
that means for Zest.
Continue on. Yeah, we do have that Dark Shrine on the way, which could potentially change things if RagnaroK doesn't scout it.
That it could. I have to wonder, what is the tech looking like for RagnaroK? He is getting his lair, so he should be able to get an Overseer at some point fairly shortly.
That he should. We do have this War Prison coming in. Oh, there's not much here to defend. The drones are a little bit exposed. The Queen as well, but Roaches do show up. They will be able to...
Shit gets cancelled. And a quick little pickup from the warp into the Warp Prism. That's once again trying to get map control.
Yeah, and Zest being pretty aggressive right now. Oh, but RagnaroK does catch these adepts. Still, though, Zest does save all of them, despite being on low health.
That he does. That he, in fact, does. Zest is, once again...
Oh, 4 DTs.
Warp in his DTs. Yep, that is gonna be key here. Immediately morphs them into Archons.
Interesting decision. Spores are on the way. The Overseer did finish up as well, so nicely done by Zest.
Very nicely done indeed. Trying to go in and see whatever opening he can get. Zest will, but RagnaroK is looking Nidus as best as he can. I think, man, Zest has recovered.
Yeah, like I said, like this is just gonna transition into a standard game. Like from both of these players, it's just gonna, you know, they're just gonna macro up. They're like being annoying with each other, but you know, Zest is getting a third behind this. I imagine we're gonna see a fourth pretty soon from RagnaroK. Once he deals with this Warp Prism, at least. It is being quite annoying.
It is. It's keeping RagnaroK so far back, and again, RagnaroK is kind of known for being that aggressive player. And the fact that he's being denied this is absolutely key for Zest. Ooh, this Warp Prism is so low, but will manage to make it out of range and get a recall. Barely surviving.
Ooh, meanwhile, two Adepts do get into the natural of RagnaroK. He is focusing down workers and does get 4 of them. And I do like this from Zest. He has 2 Adepts to the north, 2 to the south, you know, at any moment ready to come in, deny creep, or, you know, get some worker kills.
Yeah, that's it always hits when you least expect them. And it could be, as it adds up, it could be what kills the Zerg.
I'm a little bit worried that RagnaroK is taking so long to get a 4th. Like, he's been here on 3 bases for quite some time now. I do feel like he should be expanding. There are the Adepts, to be fair, but I feel like he does have enough to push out. And here we have him.
Speaking of which, RagnaroK is starting to push out, going for round 2. Galil is soon to be finished. Does see the Warp Prism, and the Warp Prism does see the move out as well.
More and more Roaches and Lings are on the way. The Adepts get cleaned up at the 3rd, as well as the natural.
That indeed they do.
DTs.
Mortals are up here. DTs are also here, getting ready to defend. Defensive DTs are pretty good, but there is already Overseer, so they're going to be made into Archons. Nice force fields. Isolates key parts of the army, but the flank is here.
Yeah.
And the Biles did rain down. Is this going to be enough, though? Zest is starting to chase RagnaroK back. Is pulling the probes, and that's a bit of a sign of desperation. Will RagnaroK keep this up? He does already take out an Archon.
The Immortals are exposed.
He is getting us around. The Immortals are exposed. So many units are starting to fall. The Biles don't quite connect them what they need to, but so many probes have gone down, and these Archons are not getting juggled fast enough.
Exactly, all the Archons go down. It's just the Immortals, and they're being focused as well. The shield battery is out of energy. The 3rd could go down, or he could just go straight into the natural. It's up to RagnaroK right now. At the same time, though, 12 workers did go down, 2 Adepts.
RagnaroK sending in a bunch of Zealots, which, again, a little bit of a desperation warp here. They're not the most effective units versus Roaches, but if you can get a nice round, then that's definitely how Zest can hold here.
Yeah, well, again, because of the Adept harass, Zest is ahead in the worker count. He just has to hold on at this moment. The Immortals are standing strong. He holds.
That they are. Yeah, the Zealots are softening up the Roaches so much, and now just trying to. RagnaroK trying to go for a Ling run by here, but not really getting it. Does get 1 Immortal and a Sentry.
Yeah.
That's pretty good damage, but not quite enough. The Zealots once again coming in, collapsing from all fronts to get a massive flank onto RagnaroK. And now RagnaroK is behind, insanely behind. Army count, worker count, upgrade count, tech count.
It was all because of that Adept harass. Like, he lost 12 workers throughout that, RagnaroK did, and if it wasn't for that, like, he would have a comparable worker count. He would be equal even. But at the moment, like, he's struggling right now economically. He's struggling to pump out the units that he needs, and the Immortals are a little bit exposed, but they should be picked up by the Warp Prism.
Like,
they do.
So this could be the beginning of the end here for RagnaroK. GG is called, and Zest takes game number 1. Learning from the last time that these two have faced off.
Yeah, it was so close. RagnaroK almost broke him 2 times. You know, first with that initial push into the natural, and then again at the 3rd. It was just, you know, the first time Zest was just able to hold on. The second time Zest with the counter damage was able to cripple RagnaroK enough to where RagnaroK couldn't reinforce as well as he would have liked. GG.
G to the G as I nod my head in agreement. We do kind of see. I don't know. I don't actually remember that much how Zest played last time, but RagnaroK kind of playing how we're used to him playing, being very aggressive at multiple points throughout the game, try to keep his opponent down, but also kind of overextending a couple of times.
Yeah, like both times he just didn't have enough to end it, to seal the deal. But he was very close both times. He was very close. And I feel like a lesser player to Zest would have fallen. You know, solid defense by Zest. Like, well done. Especially like pulling the probes when he did. Like, if he didn't do that, the Immortals would have died for sure. They were hoping so much when it came to tanking damage, keeping the Immortals alive. And really, that's how Zest was able to push RagnaroK back.
Yeah, it's a desperation move, but sometimes you got to be desperate.
Yeah.
Speaking of desperate, no wait, that's mean. In the top right-hand corner map, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire, L-E-E-E-L-E, Ile. It is going to be our blue Zerg player representing Jivo Vamanos, all the way in Korea. The defending champion of ESL Open Cup Asia. Can he get it again? In the top right-hand corner map, we have RagnaroK.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have the Korean Protoss representing Raise Your Edge Gaming. It is Zest.
All right, we're getting in. We're getting down. This is the second semifinal of the evening. If Zest wins this, he's gonna face off against Scarlet. If RagnaroK wins this, we're gonna go into the ace match, and if he wins that, then they're gonna face off against Scarlet.
Yes, whoever wins this series will face off against Scarlet. Accurate.
Yeah. It's the whatchamacallit, the habit of college essay. Gotta stretch out that word count.
Yeah, and so far, you know, again, RagnaroK with a pretty standard opener. He isn't. I'm not. He isn't. It's not worthy of my acknowledgement. He's going for a pretty standard opener. This time, he does get his natural in his natural, which is quite nice.
Yes, that is the case here. The probe not really delaying that natural this time.
Meanwhile, we do have Zest going for his double gases. We'll be seeing if he goes for, you know, a Robo Opener or a Twilight Council. There it is.
Yep, there is a Twilight opening, which once again leads me to believe that Zest is going to continue this Adept Warp, Glaive Adept shade type of play.
I mean, you know, depending on how you want to look at it, Zest has kind of been broken down and kind of criticized as well for his Adept play. It is just how he plays this matchup, PvZ, and that's also how Rogue was able to kind of dismantle him in the finals, is because Zest, he continued, you know, even though he varied things up, it did kind of boil down to this kind of Adept timing that he would go for. And that's kind of what he's comfortable with. So we'll see how we'll see how RagnaroK can, you know, deal with this. You know, he kind of had an answer for it in game one. It just wasn't quite enough. You know, to give credit to Zest, he has changed up his style a little bit. He has adjusted and adapted after the IEM finals against Rogue. So
Adapted? Oh yeah, if there's one player who will watch your series and then in like 15 minutes just find the holes in it and adapt their play, it is Rogue, definitely. But we'll see how RagnaroK is able to deal with this. That last game didn't really come down to the Glaive to Depths. It was the direction that Zest was going for, but wasn't quite what decided the game. Zest this time is looking a little more comfortable to do his opening. RagnaroK is not being anywhere near as aggressive. He is macroing up pretty hardcore, but a couple of roaches are on the way for defense. Will it be enough though?
Exactly. So unlike game number 1, RagnaroK isn't looking to push out across the map. Instead, he will be the defensive player. He will be splitting up his roaches to defend against these harassing shades. And will he be able to is the question. We did see a Scarlet do well against Trap. How will we see RagnaroK fare against Zest? He does have quite a few roaches.
That he does. And you know who else had quite a few roaches? Oh, Zest, why?
What?
Rip that Karak.
Rip. Oh, there's a lot of adepts, and he's focusing down the queens.
And they are focusing on queens. This is not enough roaches to defend.
My god.
Cancels the shade and even picks up his low health adepts. You don't see adept juggling too often, but man, when it does happen.
There may just be too many adepts, dude. Like, he's pushing through all the roaches. He kills the queens. He kills the lings. Oh my god, now he's shades.
So many roaches as well. Isolates the queen and the roaches. Makes sure that he is usually never fighting the entire army of RagnaroK one at a time.
Yeah, and he's about to shade into the main.
All at once, rather.
There it is. He gets into the main as well. 7 workers have gone down so far, which isn't too much, but RagnaroK has to be careful and make sure this doesn't snowball.
I think it already is starting to snowball here. He can only hope that it doesn't become an avalanche right now. More and more workers do go down, and the adepts are still alive, and more adepts are being warped in. Zest does have to be a little bit careful. Look to be a little reckless there with his warp prism. Almost paid the price for it.
Yeah, already 11 workers going down. Quite a nice amount of damage, but Zest, he's continuing with this harass. He's pushing in with more and more adepts.
Does actually kite these Zerglings very nicely. Will lose quite a number of these adepts, so not quite targeting the queen down. But so far, it seems to be about fine. RagnaroK is a little shaken, but he has recovered, and can he turn the tables?
That is the question. And again, like, it looks like this pressure is starting to slow down. Zest is trying to find angles to get in, but we do have RagnaroK splitting up his army nicely in each of his bases. A little bit out of position though. The third is being hit as well.
But meanwhile, Zest just gets even more drone damage. 19 drones have gone down total this game.
Yeah. Ooh, but
this
mate,
just keeps up.
Mate, look.
Oh.
I like it. We do have a Spire on the way, and we saw the same thing with from Scarlet against Trap.
Yeah, just load up the mute account. Go.
Yeah, just go in, dive on the sentries, dive on the immortals. Like, you can do so much with mutas as long as you get to that critical muta count where you can dive in and snipe these units. But we'll see if RagnaroK can get there, and we'll see if Zest is able to scout this. I don't believe he has knowledge of this as of yet. Oh, he doesn't have vision.
Not.
And
so it's gonna be. Zest is being a little proactive here, does get the cannons into his bases, is researching Blink.
Yeah, quite nice. It does feel like Zest is familiar with this style, with this, with this from happening. So, he is starting to preemptively prepare for it just in case. Oh, and Hallucination does go in, and he does spot the Spire.
Was able to confirm that. We'll be getting a Templar Archives, so once again, Zest looking in a phenomenal position here. I doubt that RagnaroK will get too much done. Could always get a couple of probes here and there, but they will eventually be chased away by the anti-air.
Yep, reinforcing Stalkers are warping in to protect that Immortal, to protect those sentries. We'll see if RagnaroK decides to dive in anyway to try and get those sentries.
No, he does not.
Oh, it does get warded off. There is just a cannon here, though, so potential damage here.
Yeah, and quite a bit of damage at that. The Stalkers do blink forward, and they do manage to take out a Mutalisk might even get a couple of more Ragnarok.
He's committing to this.
His attention is focused.
Yeah. He's okay with losing these Mutalisks. He's not planning. Yeah, he's not planning to make any more.
Probes. Yeah.
Nice.
It was, and behind this, Ragnarok was able to secure his 4th. Managed to just confirm the army of Zest. Perhaps a Baneling Nest while he's at it. And this is a lot of Templar.
That is a lot.
Zest is going to use them all.
Yeah, that's a lot of Templar. Storm is almost finished. Oh, these Mutalisks are going to run into these Stalkers. Have to be so careful.
Blink, papi.
Did blink. And yeah, we do have RagnaroK, you know, going for those Banelings. We do have Ling, Bane, Roach Ravager at the moment. Again, he's not making any more mutas. The mutas were only used for, you know, that harassing amount. And any bonus damage that he can deal, or any damage he can deal, is like a bonus, really.
Any that you can keep, yeah.
Yeah.
Or any mutas that you keep. Meanwhile, the Mutalisks are not done just yet. Zest wonderfully blinking back. And he will keep quite a number of his stalkers alive.
Yeah, you can see the supply for RagnaroK is quite high. He's looking to get ready for this push, but again, it all comes down to Zest and the force fields, as well as the storms. Like, he has so many High Templar ready. Does have to be careful, because again, like, if the High Templar get caught out by Banelings, like, that could change everything.
Absolutely could. If you get sniped by the Mutalisks, that could change everything. But the army split from Zest is looking pretty good. RagnaroK as well, trying to go for that double prong. But
he's going in.
There he is. He is going in. The storm does go down. The force fields are huge, but so many Banelings still survive, and they do crash into the spellcasters. The left flank of RagnaroK has been taken out. Zest keeping so many units alive. He has lost his 4th, but he will be able to fight this. Oh, that Baneling crashing into the Templar. That is very risky from Zest. And Zest losing a lot of infrastructure here, but he will be able to beat this army back. Can he counterattack? It's not looking too likely for the time being. Are some units here that will take out the Adepts.
Yeah, it's very important to note that Zest was able to save so many High Templar. He has 4 almost full energy. He has 2 Immortals as well. It was kind of a weird engagement where RagnaroK, he lost the left side, but he won the right side. Meanwhile, the opposite for Zest. So they kind of traded, but Zest did lose his 4th.
Yeah, he did. Although RagnaroK lost a heck of a lot of workers, Zest being able to take the lead in that department. Zest wanted to go for that counterattack, but realized that he didn't quite have the game-ending army that he needed. Fleet Beacon, that is what I like to see coming out from our pink Protoss player. Will be able to build up that golden armada, and I'm not convinced that RagnaroK is going to be ready for it.
Is it going to be carriers?
I feel like it has to be.
Well, to be fair, RagnaroK does have the Spire, so he does have the option to go for Corruptors, and there we have it. 2 carriers are on the way for Zest. And this is the beginning of the end unless RagnaroK can scout this and prepare accordingly. Right now, his anti-air is almost non-existent. He just has these Mutalisks, and that's it, really. So this tech switch, this carrier switch could completely catch him off guard and end the game. But we'll see. It is still quite a ways away.
Yeah, Biles can hit air.
They can. They can.
About as accurate a description as you can get. Infestation pit can be thrown down from our Zerg player here. RagnaroK will.
So we'll see.
I just want to say, infestors, fungals, they are pretty good against these types of armies.
Yeah, fungals would be nice. Again, more adept harass in the north, hitting RagnaroK's base, that 4th base. 5 workers go down once again. RagnaroK, I feel like he needs a little bit of static defense. Finally, a spine is getting thrown down, just to help out with that. But his army, he hasn't really done much with it, and it doesn't scale too well. This Roach Ravager Ling Bane, he's still sticking with it, which is nice if he goes for an attack soon. But again, the carriers are almost done. Like,
Yeah, that they are. 2 of them are done. 2 more are on the way, and
4
that's
carriers.
not quite critical mass.
Hey, that's
but
pretty close.
compared to what, yeah, compared to what RagnaroK has, it may as well be.
Yeah.
How about the storm factor with these Templar? I'm not sure.
Yeah, 6,
I'm not
7,
sure how good it's
8
looking for
workers go
RagnaroK right
down.
now.
These are depths. Oh my god, they just deal so much damage. And
Willis gets a scout, and he does see the carriers. They have arrived.
And I feel like that should prompt RagnaroK to push out. He needs to get rid of some supply to get Corruptors out. He just doesn't have the anti-air. He's maxed out right now, and he needs to do something. He can't just sit back. If he sit back, he dies. He needs like spores, maybe. I don't know what his plan is.
Something?
I mean, he's
going into Greater Spire, which again, not too sure about how effective that will be. A couple of Corruptors are being made.
Yeah, but he's maxed out. Like, he can't make more.
Yeah, that is the problem right here.
Yeah.
All right, RagnaroK is pushing out. Going in
He
with
is.
the Lings. They are starting to go down like so. Frees up the supply for RagnaroK to get more. That's 8 Corruptors total.
I still don't feel like that's enough. I feel like RagnaroK, he's being too passive. He needs to do run-bys. He needs to split up his army, but it's too late now. We have Zest pushing out on the map with his Golden Armada, with his Protoss army, and it's going to be on RagnaroK to try and push him back. Will he be able to? There are Storms as well, Archons. Oh, God.
Well, we'll see how the positioning from RagnaroK goes. This is a pretty good flank. But again, where's the anti-air to deal with 6 fully intercepted carriers?
The storms go down.
On that main army, but the flank is starting to come in. This army of RagnaroK is about to be obliterated, and the other half is here. They do get stormed. The Banelings go down. This is just
the Corruptors are here.
The end here.
They're starting to focus down the carriers. They get
here.
1, but that's all they managed to get.
Quite enough.
Exactly.
GG is called. And our finals will, in fact, be Zest versus Scarlet. Oh boy, ZvP.
GG, and that was such a heartbreaking final game there for RagnaroK. Again, like, the writing was on the wall. Like, it took him too long to scout the carriers. He was being incredibly passive with an army that is good for the mid game but doesn't scale too well into the late game. And you know, again, we saw the armies clash towards the end, and you know, Zest, he just kind of rolled over him. It was all about the storms and the carriers.
I think the Storms played a massive factor in that game. If not for the Storms, those Banelings would have connected, man. Those Banelings would have connected, and that's a ground army gone.
Yeah.
And then RagnaroK just focused solely on the air army.
Yeah, and you know, there we have it. Zest 2-0's RagnaroK advances to the finals, and we will be having a ZvP of the ages. You know, Scarlet was able to take down Trap, Zest took down RagnaroK. Now we have these 2 titans collide, and mate, this is what I want.
I want to say, I think the last time that I remember them playing was in 2018. This is back during the days of the Mika build, the Dropper Lord Lings, and Scarlet was able to 2-0 Zest